India's sporting champions are back on the street in a shocking case where a BJP MP and the head of the Wrestling Federation has been accused of sexually harassing not one, not two, but hundreds of wrestlers, according to Vinesh Phogat and Sakshi Malik, who spoke to me a little while earlier. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo story. The country is seeing shocking images of these wrestlers spending the night on the pavement. Vinesh Phogat dryly tweeted, "From the podium to the pavement." Remember, these are some of India's biggest sporting stars. A few months ago, they accused the head of the Wrestling Federation, who also happens to be a member of parliament of the BJP, of sexual harassment. But now the women say they fear that the inquiry panel that has been set up is all set to give a clean chit to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, the man who has been at the receiving end of these allegations. Although the government had asked him to step aside as the head of the Wrestling Federation while the inquiry was on, the wrestlers assert that he's still very much in control and remains in control, effective control of the Wrestling Federation. They're also saying that the police has refused to register their criminal complaint. They say 7 women are ready to go on a record, not just before the inquiry committee, but also in front of the Delhi police to offer their testimonies. But they say while the police has received their complaint, the police has not yet formally registered this complaint. The wrestlers now say they will not move from the pavements of the capital till this criminal complaint is registered. 2 of them have been on camera breaking down in tears. They're the biggest names in their sport, Vinesh Phogat and Sakshi Malik among them. And the fact that they have to do this is shameful. In fact, as they asked me, अगर हमारे साथ ये होता है, हम तो जाने माने हैं, हम तो चैंपियंस हैं, आप सोचिए उन औरतों के साथ क्या होता है जिनको कोई नहीं जानता. How did we come to this point? Let's introduce our guests on the program today. Joining us first up is lawyer and Congress spokesperson Swati Malik. It's good to see you on the program, Swati. Also joining us is feminist rights activist Dr. Ranjana Kumari. Good to see you, ma'am. Also joining us, India's best sports journalist Sharda Ugra. Always a pleasure, Sharda. And also joining us from the BJP is Ashwini Shahi, a party spokesperson and leader. Namaskar, Ashwini ji. Welcome everybody to the program. I'll play out clips of what Vinesh and Sakshi said to me in a while. But let me actually start with Sharda. Sharda, put this into context. The fact is that under every government, politicians have controlled sporting federations, whether it was Congress or whether it was BJP. This time it happens to be a BJP politician who's on the mat, but the allegations are grave. I managed to speak with Vinesh and Sakshi a short while ago, and they said that this is about hundreds of women being sexually harassed by a man who oversaw this along with his accomplices, a powerful member of parliament, a powerful sports administrator, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who, by the way, has a history of criminal charges, including allegations of links with the underworld. He's never, of course, been convicted yet on any of these charges. Sharda, put this into context for us.
This is just literally an example of sort of the worst end of the stick when politicians are involved, because there is no redressal, there is no grievance mechanism that is formal, that can actually see any any redressal for any of these athletes. The Wrestling Federation of India did not have an internal complaints committee. I don't know how many of our sports federations have internal complaints committee when it comes to issues like this, which are prevalent in our sport. They are there everywhere. You just have to go out and do a random almost like a scratch poll and find out which of the athletes, male, female, young and not so young, have been discriminated against, harassed, exploited. There are stories in cricket about officials asking for sexual favors or selection. So this is just a very, very prominent case, because you've got Olympic medalists sitting there and saying this is what has happened and we want to fight this case. The fact that the Delhi police refuses to register an FIR just tells you everything, Barkha, as to how what the balance of power is, how the power dynamics play out, no matter how famous these athletes are, and no matter which political parties these people belong to. They just seem to want to be sports administrators and then sit on it, and sit on that post and treat it like another of their kingdoms.
अश्विनी जी, ये जो नेता हैं ब्रिज भूषण जी, ये उत्तर प्रदेश के हैं। जब मैं बहुत यंग रिपोर्टर थी तो मैंने जो एक स्टोरी कवर की थी, तब उस समय इन पे आरोप था कि इनके अंडरवर्ल्ड के साथ चार्जेस हैं। लेकिन मैं फिर भी कहूंगी कि कन्विक्शन इनकी हुई नहीं है। कुछ चार्जेस में एक्विट हुए, कुछ बहुत सीरियस चार्जेस अभी भी हैं। लेकिन बीजेपी को क्यों जरूरत पड़ती है एक ऐसे नेता को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए? क्यों ना इनको एक तरह से विजिबल एक्शन इनके खिलाफ लिया जाए? ये हमारी सबसे वेल नोन रिस्पेक्टेड फीमेल एथलीट्स है। इनका कहना है कि कैसे आएंगी औरतें स्पोर्ट्स में अगर ये होगा?
बरखा जी, बहुत ही गंभीर मुद्दा है और आपने इसको उठाया है। मगर देखने वाली ये बात है कि ये दोबारा हो रहा है। पहले हमारी जो है देश की गौरव जो महिलाएं हैं, जो इन लोगों ने मेडल जीता है देश के लिए, देश का नाम रोशन किया है, आकर अगर कह रही हैं तो सरकार ने बड़े गंभीरता से लिया। देखिए, आपने फोटो चलाया, अनुराग जी ने एक मीटिंग बुलाई और सब कुछ वहां पर हुआ। उसके बाद एक कमेटी गठित की गई। मैरीकॉम जैसे रेपुटेटेड खिलाड़ी को उसका अध्यक्ष बनाया गया। एक सरकार के द्वारा किया गया और 2 कमेटियां गठित की गई, एक इंडियन ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन के द्वारा भी की गई। दोनों की अध्यक्ष मैरीकॉम जी थी। लेकिन ये देखा जा रहा है कि अगर कोई सिस्टम देखा जाए, चला जाए, जैसे इन कुश्ती संघ में जो है एक यौन उत्पीड़न समिति है जिसकी मेंबर स्वयं साक्षी मलिक हैं। ये लड़कियां कोई भी वहां पर कोई भी, किसी ने भी कोई अपना जो है वहां पर शिकायत दर्ज नहीं कराया कि मेरे साथ जो है उत्पीड़न हुआ है या कुछ हुआ है। अगर हुआ होता तो साक्षी मलिक उस बात को खुलकर कहती। दूसरी बात, अगर जो ये मैरीकॉम जी की अध्यक्षता में जो टीम गठित की गई, इस टीम ने जब सबूत मांगा तो ये लड़कियां जो हमारे यहाँ धरने पर बैठी हुई थी पिछली बार और आज भी बैठी हुई है, इन लोगों ने कोई भी एक सबूत वहां पर नहीं दिया, क्योंकि कमेटी उसी लिए बनाई गई थी। खेल मंत्रालय ने स्पष्ट रूप से कहा था कि कोई भी होगा बख्शा नहीं जाएगा, आप लोग आइए। आप महिला खिलाड़ी हैं, डोला बनर्जी थी, ये थी, सब लोग थे उसमें। इसलिए वहां से जब उनको क्लीन चिट, लगभग जो है क्लीन चिट में, और यही लोग विनेश फोगाट भी हैं, इनको बाद में एक कमेटी में भी शामिल किया गया और इन्हीं लोगों ने वहां की कमेटी की रिपोर्ट बाहर की, मीडिया में छपा, ये वह कोई भी सबूत नहीं दे पाए, उनको क्लीन चिट मिल गया, अखबारों में छपा। तो ये देखने वाली बात है कि ये कहीं ना कहीं ये किसी के द्वारा बहकावे में आकर या कोई साजिश में आकर, क्योंकि ये चुनाव होने वाला था, शायद आज चुनाव पर भी रोक लगा दिया गया, ओलंपिक संघ ने रोक लगाया है, चुनाव होने वाला था, इस वजह से हो सकता है कि कहीं कोई साजिश हो। जी,
एक सवाल है, मुझे साक्षी मलिक ने एक सवाल किया, वही सवाल मैं आपसे करती हूँ। उन्होंने मुझसे कहा मुझे क्या मिल रहा है, मुझे क्या मिल रहा है यहाँ पर सड़क पर बैठकर? जो लोग कहते हैं कि हम झूठ बोलते हैं तो हमारे ऊपर एक्शन ले लीजिए, क्योंकि या ब्रिजभूषण जी झूठे हैं या हम झूठे हैं। ये बीच का मामला तो नहीं हो सकता, ये आप मानेंगे ना?
देखिए, तो कमेटी, मैं ना ब्रजभूषण जी को सही कह रहा हूं, ना इन लोगों को सही कह रहा हूं, ना उनको झूठा कह रहा हूं, ना इनको झूठा कह रहा हूं। सरकार का जो भी रुख था, मंत्रालय ने कमेटी गठित की तो जिन लोगों ने आरोप लगाया था उन लोगों को उस कमेटी के सामने एटलीस्ट अपनी बात रखनी चाहिए थी, बरखा जी। कमेटी, और अगर मान लीजिए कि हम और आप एक साथ काम कर रहे हैं, कहीं कोई घटना होती है तो कोई तो एक बोलेगा कि हाँ, बरखा जी बोलेंगे या अश्विनी शाही बोलेंगे कि हाँ वहां पर ये मिले थे। तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ, कोई सबूत पेश नहीं कर पाए लोग, इसलिए वहां पर उस कमेटी ने मैरीकॉम जी क्या सरकार की कोई प्रतिनिधि है? ऐसा भी नहीं है। वो इंडियन ओलंपिक एसोसिएशन ने उनको रखा था, डोला बनर्जी थी, योगेश्वर दत्त थे उसमें, सब लोग, ये सारे लोग हमारे हिंदुस्तान के गौरव हैं और वो लोग थे। अगर वो लोग क्या सरकार के दबाव में थे या वो लोग इंडिपेंडेंट थे, ये सोचने वाली बात है। कोई सबूत होता, कहीं अगर हम न्यायालय में भी जाते हैं तो कुछ तो सबूत पेश करते हैं, नहीं तो बहुत बड़े बड़े अपराधी माफिया देखिए किस तरीके से उत्तर प्रदेश में आज तक कन्विक्शन ही नहीं हुआ था उसका। हम लोगों ने सबूत पेश किया और पहली सजा हम लोगों ने दिलवाई उत्तर प्रदेश में। इसलिए मेरा मानना है कि ये महिलाएं जो लड़कियां बैठी हैं, ये हमारे देश का गौरव है, मामला गंभीर है। अगर इनके पास कोई सबूत हो, वो कमेटी के सामने, सरकार के सामने कहीं भी पेश करें। अभी तक वो बहुत देर, अच्छा ये एक बात और जो गौर करने वाली है, ये मामला इधर का नहीं है, ये 14, 15, 16 ऐसे कुछ करके मामले उठाए जा रहे हैं। पुलिस का यह भी कहना है कि पिछली बार हम लोगों ने मांगा था कि आप एफआईआर दर्ज कराइएगा, इन लोगों ने कोई एफआईआर दर्ज नहीं कराया था और पिछली बार ये लोग चले गए थे। तो अब सरकार, अगर एफआईआर दर्ज होगा, पुलिस जो है फिर से जांच करेगी, उस कमेटी की रिपोर्ट लगाई जाएगी, ये तो सबके सामने होगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
I just want to say कि पुलिस ने अभी इनकार किया है वो एफआईआर दर्ज करने से, एंड द रेस्टलर्स हैव अप्रोच्ड द सुप्रीम कोर्ट। ये मैं एक बात रखना चाहती हूँ, लेकिन आपने मेरी कॉम की बात की। बिफोर आई गो टू रंजना एंड स्वाति, I just want Sharda to come in on that. I think the BJP and the government will make that point that the committee is being led by an eminent sportswoman herself, and therefore if the committee does give a clean sheet, the process has been followed. What then is the basis to say that the committee has come under pressure, which is what Vinesh, Sakshi and their comrades are alleging? Sharda?
The fact that is being said that this is a conspiracy, sazish hai, with great respect, I have to say that there won't be so many women sitting there if it was a sazish. What, like Sakshi Malik said to you, what am I doing there? Now this thing is that he's going to get a clean sheet, that there was no proof. There is no documentary evidence that says that there is no proof. We don't have any letter saying that, the committee says there is no proof. This is just some story that has come from somewhere. And with as regards to Mary Com being on the committee or not being on the committee, I have to say this, that once athletes finish competing, will they be under pressure of government? Of course, absolutely. They all feel afraid of taking on the government in some form or the other. They all feel they don't want to change the status quo. They're in a good position. They've got a Rajya Sabha seat. PT Usha, is she going to take on the government? Absolutely not. I mean, we just have to understand that all these qualities of courage and fearlessness and determination that we put on athletes exist on the sports field. Everything outside it changes that equation. So by saying that these athletes are of course the pride of our nation as athletes, but are they the pride of our nation when it comes to fighting for injustice? I don't know. I have not seen proof to the contrary. It's a very small sort of field that you're looking at.
Let me bring in Ranjana, and then I'll come to Swati. Ranjana, this is actually the problem that happens with all cases of sexual harassment. In the end, it is tough for women to come out and speak. These wrestlers were telling me that they started with 15 women agreeing to go on record. By the time the inquiry committee held its hearing, 7 were ready to come on record. That they come from small towns and villages even, where there is a great deal of stigma attached to even talking about this. But then the process has to be followed. Ashwini Shahi will turn around and say, bhai, and so would everybody else, that what can you do but follow the process? Now, if the process has been followed, what are the grounds for us to object?
Barkha, first of all, they are putting the onus of proving what happened to them on the girls themselves, who are vulnerable, who come from a smaller community. There is whole prestige and their own respect at stake. Secondly, their whole career is at stake. I was in Rajasthan doing similar kind of inquiry, and I can tell you that they had bullied the girls not to speak, otherwise they'll be out of the team. Fine. So there are these kind of, if you call him, did the committee call him and ask him, did you do this or not? 100 girls are saying it, more girls are saying it. Is this happening or not? Are you calling them to your room or not? Are you sexually harassing them or not? Otherwise women will always lose, Barkha. We have nothing to, look, Me Too movement. Look at the way women have really been silenced about it. So I think, and having served on 29 Government of India Sexual Harassment Committee, I can tell you that every time all these men, and what all men gang up, and then of course they start to prove the women wrong. Every time it has happened.
But they'll say that a woman is heading this committee, Ranjana.
No,
You're saying all the men gang up. They will say Mary Com, yeah.
Well, she's a parliament member. She doesn't want to stake her, whole future now. She is, you don't understand that when you are under the patronage of power, then you behave differently. You are not the same person. And I think other thing, very important thing, why it is that every single sports committee has to be headed by a politician and a male politician. Why? I mean, after all, there are so many good sports women around now. Why are they not chair of these committees? Because there is something more than financial and other kinds of corruption. And one of the corruption is that they get very easy access to these women and young girls. I mean, I absolutely have no fear in saying that I have heard many, many more stories to tell you that this is something which is absolutely truth and nothing else. Why will they sit in this heat in that place? Why are the girls screaming every day? And police, I mean, if you go to the police, and why is police not registering FIR? Is it not mandatory for the police to register the FIR if the aggrieved party thinks that I have not been given justice under the sexual harassment committee?
So
they have to register a case. Why are they? And then they should follow the investigation. Has anybody ever spoke to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh about it?
Yeah, let me bring in. You're seeing images of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. With respect, as I said, this is a gentleman who has faced a series of very, very grave charges, never been convicted, acquitted in some, but the charges included charges under the then anti-terror law called TADA. He was eventually acquitted in that case, but Ashwini ji will know, बहुत सारे charges हैं इनके खिलाफ. Swati, the Congress has been under attack from the BJP for a sexual harassment allegation within your own party that involves the youth Congress leader Srinivas. One, how do you handle that sort of controversy? And then this is what's happened. You will say BJP will say Congress, and women who are raising their voice will say it's all drowned in politics. Swati?
Barkha, thank you for asking this very relevant question, especially keeping in mind what's happening with the Congress person as well. Now, whenever there's a complaint, Congress has always cooperated. Nobody's trying to protect anyone out here. On behalf of Congress, I'm saying this. Nobody's protecting anybody. If there is a complaint, please go and investigate. If he's found guilty, and he should be punished. That is the baseline. We are not here to protect. We are not going to be quiet about it. We are not going to stay silent. Like how from the Prime Minister to the women welfare minister to the sports minister, everybody is silent on the wrestlers issue. Mr. Anurag Thakur, he very well said that these are serious allegations. We look into it. We formed a committee. That is it. But today, you would have heard the wrestlers say that they've been trying to contact Mr. Thakur and they've been unable to. Where is Ms. Smriti Irani? What happened to the women welfare minister now? What has the cat caught their tongue? What went wrong? And the Prime Minister, of course, is always very quiet on every issue except when he's doing his Man Ki Baat, right? So there is such a lack of intent. There is a conflict in their words and their actions. You will see the 15th August, the Prime Minister made a very good speech from the Red Fort. We were all, as women, we were all feeling so good. The guest Prime Ministers talking about women empowerment. We're very thrilled about it. But what's happening on ground? What's happening from podium to pavement, as you said?
How do you process allegations of sexual harassment as a party? I know you're a lawyer as well. How would you advise, for example, your own party, dealing with one of your own erstwhile colleagues talking about sexual harassment vis-a-vis her senior, Mr. Srinivas, in this case? I ask you this because I know that the BJP will pick it up. So I'm asking you this. It's a valid question.
Barkha, there should be a fair investigation, not just with, of course, within the party, if there has been a complaint, there should be a fair investigation, not just by men sitting out there, but there'll be men, women. It has to be, we have to take members of the committee from everywhere, not just from within the party, but from outside as well. There should be NGOs involved. There should be lawyers involved. A balanced panel has to be formed for investigation. While the investigation is going on, the person concerned should not be in a position of power or position to influence their investigation. That is the most important.
This is a very important point, and I want to get reactions to this because the wrestlers say that Brij Bhushan Sharan is effectively still in control of the Wrestling Federation, even though Anurag Thakur made an announcement that while the inquiry is on, he's expected to step aside. Now, before I get reactions to this, and Ranjana, I'm coming to you right after this, I want to play a clip. This was a very disturbing clip. These are the wrestlers alleging that we're actually talking about a full-blown institutionalized sexual harassment, subculture in the Wrestling Federation, where we're talking about hundreds of women over the years having been sexually harassed. Please listen in. कितनी लड़कियां हैरेस हुई हैं?
मैम कोई काउंटिंग ही नहीं है. मैं आपको 100 बताऊं, 200 बताऊं, 500 बताऊं, 700 बताऊं, 1000 बताऊं, जितनी भी बताऊं मुझे तो कम लगती हैं, क्योंकि 12 साल से हमने देखा है इसका अत्याचार कितना हुआ है. कोई सिंगल लड़की ही इसने रेसलिंग में ऐसी छोड़ी है जिसके साथ में इसने बदतमीजी या सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट करने की कोशिश ना की हो. कोई सिंगल ही लड़की रेसलिंग में बची होगी.
तो आप कह रही हैं there are hundreds of women according to you who have been sexually harassed by Brij Bhushan? Hundreds?
जी मैम. 500 तक लगा लो, 1000 तक लगा लो, मतलब मैं काउंटिंग बता ही नहीं सकती कि कितनी काउंटिंग में हुआ है।
और इसने अकॉर्डिंग टू यू आपकी एलिगेशन है कि इन्होंने अकेले एक्ट किया कि इनके साथ पूरा सिस्टम जुड़ा हुआ था?
पूरा सिस्टम जुड़ा होता है मैम, एक अकेला आदमी कुछ नहीं करता है, पूरा सिस्टम उनको फॉलो अप करता है, कौन लड़की कहाँ जा रही है, कहाँ से है, कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर निकालना है या उनसे बातचीत करवानी है, तो उनका एक सिस्टम होता है, वो सिस्टम के थ्रू जाते हैं, उसके बाद में ब्रिजभूषण की एंट्री होती है।
Ranjana, I could see you nodding along, that sounded familiar as to how, yeah.
Because I have investigated case, Barkha, that's why I'm nodding my head, that, what happens in these cases is that this guy will choose and the others will organize. And finally, of course, he gets access. I don't think even minister has the courage to talk to this man. I'm telling you, I've been very, because I know UP politics. I come from Varanasi. I know UP. And I can tell you that nobody will have the courage to put him in the dock. BJP, because it's not just matter of one person, it's matter of all the vote. 2024 is coming. They will not do anything to give justice to these girls. And this is what is happening in sports sector as such, all across. These girls have the courage to sit down at Jantar Mantar and to wherever they are protesting, and also to be able to ask for the FIR. But look at that picture that you showed of Anurag Thakur. Why should that MP not be called also to have some kind of a discussion with them? If this girl is risking her life by making this statement sitting there, I can tell you that. Because, you are confronting a whole system of bullies, of gundas, of all kinds of antisocial elements, not just this head of the, Wrestling Federation. There's a whole bunch of people who will support him, and that's how the fear gets instilled in the girls, and finally they'll be all silence. But this is not what we should expect and accept.
Absolutely unacceptable. But Ashwini Shahi ji, जो ब्रिज भूषण शरण सिंह हैं, वो कोई आम नेता नहीं है। आप म्यूट पे हैं अश्विनी जी, अगर आप जवाब देने से पहले अपने आप को थोड़ा अनम्यूट करें। आप भी जानते होंगे इनकी हिस्ट्री क्या रही है। मैं जब से पत्रकार हूँ, मैं ब्रिज भूषण के केसेस फॉलो कर रही हूँ। कोई ना कोई बहुत ही गंभीर आरोप उनके खिलाफ हमेशा रहा है, बहुत से वो केसेस रिजॉल्व भी नहीं हुए। इस पे अश्विनी जी आप क्या बोलेंगे?
जी बरखा जी, देखिए, ये इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि उनके ऊपर बहुत से आरोप लगे हैं, और राम मंदिर केस में भी था उनके ऊपर, आपने अभी कहा पोटा भी लगा, जो भी है सब कुछ उनके ऊपर केस है। लेकिन केस लगने के बाद और कोई सजा होना, ये यहां तक एक देखा जाता है कि क्या हुआ क्या नहीं। लेकिन कुश्ती संघ में उसके उलट आइए, मेरे पास कुछ आंकड़े हैं कि उन्होंने उनके आने के बाद कितने पदक आए हैं, इस पर भी एक बार चर्चा होनी चाहिए। मैं किसी का डिफेंड नहीं करता हूं, अगर वो गलत हैं तो उनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए, कहीं कोई उसमें दो राय नहीं है, क्योंकि ये हमारे देश के महान खिलाड़ियों ने, जिसने देश का नाम रोशन किया है, उन्होंने ये सवाल उठाए हैं। मगर इस सवाल के पीछे दो तीन कारण हैं। एक महिला रेसलर है सोनम मलिक, उसके पिताजी ने कहा कि भाई देखिए, हमको तो सीनियर्स का दबाव आया तो हम धरने में आ गए, हमको कुछ नहीं पता किसने क्या किया। उनकी बिटिया भी वहां पर जो जाकर कुश्ती लड़ती है, क्या उसके साथ कुछ नहीं हुआ? उसने तो कुछ नहीं कहा। कई महिला रेसलर आई हैं जो पिछली बार ही आकर सामने कह रही थी कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ, और हम लोग ये कहते हैं कि नहीं, उन्होंने ऐसी कोई बात ही नहीं हुई कि सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट की बात हुई हो। तो क्या वो पहलवान नहीं है? क्या उन लोगों ने पदक नहीं जीता था जिन्होंने बयान दिए थे? तो ये देखने वाली बात है कि ये हरियाणा से दीपेंद्र हुड्डा का क्या इसमें कनेक्शन है, हरियाणा के कांग्रेसी नेताओं का क्या कनेक्शन है, ये देखने वाली बात है। किस तरीके से इनको कहीं प्रायोजित करके किए। मैंने कहा कि किसी साजिश का तो ये शिकार नहीं हो गई है हमारी देश की जो ये युवा पहलवान जो है, जो हमारे देश का नाम रोशन करती है।
अडल्ट औरतें हैं, खुद की भी दिमाग है, खुद भी अपना फैसला ले सकती हैं, कोई भी नेता कुछ भी कहे। राइट अश्विनी जी?
मैं थोड़ा सा पूरा कर लूं बरखा जी। अभी आपने जो इंटरव्यू लिया विनेश फोगाट का, उसमें उसने 100, 200, 1000 पता नहीं क्या क्या कहती चली गई। उनको ये पता नहीं था कि वो क्या कह रही हैं, लेकिन ये ही एक सबूत वो अपनी कमेटी के सामने रख पाई होती तो ये मामला आज यहां पर नहीं आया होता, और वो कमेटी की मेंबर खुद थी वो। अब बताइए, ये चीजें देखिए, ना मैं जज हूं या ना आप, हम लोग एक समीक्षा कर सकते हैं यहाँ, हम लोग यहाँ एक बातचीत कर सकते हैं। मगर मामला सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट अगर डिसाइड करता है कि अरेस्ट करना है, गिरफ्तार करना है, FIR दर्ज करना है, फांसी चढ़ाना है, वो सब स्वीकार है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। लेकिन जो बातें दिख रही हैं कि विनेश फोगाट ने कहा 200, 500, 1000 लड़कियां सेक्सुअली हरेस हुई हैं, लेकिन एक भी किसी ने, साक्षी मलिक जो सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट कमेटी के मेंबर है, उनके पास कोई शिकायत नहीं देता है। उसके बाद मैरीकॉम के, अभी देखिए रंजना जी ने कहा वो कैसे करेंगी, एमपी हैं और क्या है, कैसे कर पाएंगी। तो महिलाएं ही महिलाओं के जब खिलाफ हैं तो कहां से सबूत आएगा? इस तरीके की बात, जब उन्हीं पर भरोसा नहीं है, जब एक कमेटी बनाई गई, अगर उस कमेटी में ब्रजभूषण सिंह अध्यक्ष होते तो हम कहते चलो भाई नहीं हो पाएगा। दूसरा कोई उनका सचिव जो हटा दिया गया वो तोमर होता तो मैं कहता कि चलिए कोई बात नहीं है। लेकिन ये देखने वाली बात है बरखा जी, कोई इसकी एक निष्पक्षता से जो है सरकार जरूर इस पर ध्यान देगी, क्योंकि ये दोबारा केस उठा है। हो सकता है कि इसका संबंध कुश्ती संघ के चुनाव से भी हो या दीपेंद्र हुड्डा वाली सियासत से भी।
मेरे पास सिर्फ 5 मिनट है। रंजना ब्रीफली, देन स्वाति एंड शारदा गेट्स द लास्ट वर्ड। हाँ रंजना बताइए।
देखिए बरखा, ये पूरा जो स्पोर्ट्स का सेक्टर है हमेशा से मेल डोमिनेटेड रहा है। अब ये कुछ लड़कियां आगे आई हैं और वो जो चूंकि और आगे आई हैं तो सिर्फ एक खिलाड़ी के तौर पर मेडल वो जीत के नहीं लाए हैं, जो कुश्ती संघ के अध्यक्ष हैं। मेडल इन लड़कियों की मेहनत से जीत के आया है और आज आप उनके साथ इस तरह की हरकत कर रहे हैं। तो ये चीजें जो है, इनको जब तक हमारा पूरा स्पोर्ट्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पॉलिसीज को ठीक से इंप्लीमेंट नहीं करेगा, जब तक हमारी इन महिलाओं को आगे जाने का मौका नहीं मिलेगा, ये मोहरा बन गई हैं। अब देखिए अब कहां से कहां बात चली गई। दीपेंद्र हुड्डा और इधर इनका मतलब क्या है? वो लड़की साफ कह रही है कि हम लोग के साथ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट हुआ, जांच करिए। उसमें दीपेंद्र हुड्डा और इनका क्या लेना देना है? लेकिन आप इनको मोहरा बना रहे हैं। अब धीरे धीरे करके, और फिर कितने दिन कोई संघर्ष करेगा? हम लोग सड़कों पे बहुत बार उतरे, कितनी बार उतर सकते हैं? तो ये महिलाओं की हमारी अपनी सीमाएं हैं इन मामलों में, और आप देखिएगा कि इसको धीरे से रफा दफा करेंगे ये लोग। क्यों? क्योंकि ये कोई साधारण एमपी नहीं है, और जिनसे मिनिस्टर, मैं आज फिर कह रही हूँ, मिनिस्टर की हिम्मत भी नहीं है कि एक बार उनको बुला के पूछिए सब क्या चल रहा है।
Okay, Swati, the suggestion has been made that this is Haryana Congress-sponsored protest. I want your response to it, Swati.
Absolutely absurd. This is I was just listening to the spokesperson for the BJP, and I couldn't believe what he was saying on a national debate out here of your platform. I am shocked that he's actually making allegations against these women who have come up, who are speaking against the president of the federation. I am shocked that within this debate also they've tried to give credit to the accused. They're actually wanting to count the medals the wrestlers got after he became the president. If that is their mindset, Barkha, here in this debate where they should be coming and supporting these wrestlers, then you can imagine the mindset in the committee. How are these women ever going to get justice from this government? And that is when I talk about the trust deficit. This is where the trust deficit comes in. That's why those poor women, the wrestlers, had to go up to the Supreme Court now just for registration of an FIR, which is my fundamental right. It's my fundamental right to get a FIR registered. For that also you have to go to the Supreme Court. You know exactly the high-handedness of this system. So yes, please.
I no, sorry, I want to just pick up that point that the Supreme Court, I am pretty sure, will at least intervene to the degree that the FIR is registered. I think we're all very sure of that. What we don't know is what happens after that. The wrestlers are demanding arrest and then bail if need be, and then an investigation. We don't know if that will happen. Ashwini ji has said, agar Supreme Court aisa kahegi, jo court kahegi, wo hoga. Sharda, I want to give you the last word. My question is this, we don't follow, unlike you, sport into to the degree of detail where we might know the machinations that are taking place behind the scenes. What's actually going on here according to you?
According to me, it's an attempt to get the status quo back and moving again. And Mr. Brij Bhushan Sharan is not going to stand for that election, but his wife and his son are involved in wrestling, which means he's involved, he's remote controlling it. So the whole idea is to get it back to that. Now, suddenly, why you have this other committee and this ad hoc committee set up? Because these wrestlers went and sat down again in Jantar Mantar. They said, "Fatafat kuch to karo. Let's make sure our image is. Let's do image management of this. To show that we are being sort of proactive and we are doing this and whatever." But the whole thing is that you've had this going on for 3 months, and you're putting out stories saying there's been no evidence. If there's no evidence, come out and make a statement. Do you have the courage to make that statement and in front of these women who've been sitting there and saying this? And Ashwini, with respect to you, to say that aurat ki enemy hoti and Mary Kom is there, therefore she's doing this, that's an absolutely absurd argument. I mean, the point is these committees are basically dud committees. It's always the person at the back, whoever's in government, whoever has the power, that calls the shots in these scenarios. And putting Mary Kom there's name sort of like a PR thing, it's great, but we've seen the end result of it. That is what is happening.
So what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen, Sharda?
I think they'll wait for the story to subside again. Once there's an FIR, then maybe there'll be something on it, but they're just waiting for the story to subside. So going to the Supreme Court is a big move.
अश्विनी जी, बहुत ब्रीफली, ये जो आरोप है, जो रेसलर्स ने भी कहा और शारदा जी ने भी कहा कि डी फैक्टो कंट्रोल रेसलिंग फेडरेशन का ब्रिज भूषण शरण ही करते हैं, इसका ये मतलब है that if I am a wrestler और मैं अपना मुंह खोलना चाहती हूँ, तो मुझे लगता है कि एक तो मुझे डर लगता है क्योंकि ये कोई, जैसे मैंने कहा, साधारण नेता नहीं है, डेंजरस एक इनका रिकॉर्ड है, एटलीस्ट द एलिगेशंस आर डेंजरस. दूसरी तरफ मेरा करियर खत्म हो सकता है अगर मैं अपने फेडरेशन के हेड के खिलाफ बोलती हूं, तो मेरा स्पोर्टिंग करियर खत्म हो सकता है. इस पे लास्ट वर्ड अश्विनी शाही.
देखिए बरखा जी, तीसरा टर्म है ब्रजभूषण जी का अध्यक्ष के रूप में. तीसरे टर्म में आकर, वो भी इस समय आकर जो है 2022 और 23 में जो है इस तरीके की घटनाएं एकाएक निकल के आना, और 14 से 15 से लोग शांत रहते हैं. तो शांत रहना, देखिए, ज्यादा कहा जाता है, इसमें हम लोग ने किताबों में पढ़ा है कि ज्यादा बर्दाश्त करना भी एक अपराध होता है. उन लोगों ने क्यों बर्दाश्त किया? अगर ऐसी चीजें थी तो उस समय भी ये दिमाग में आ सकता था कि हमारा कैरियर खत्म हो जाएगा. अगर उस समय आता था तो आज क्यों, उस समय नहीं आता तो आज क्यों आया? तो बहुत से सवाल है बरखा जी, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि
समय औरतों को बोलने में, अपनी स्ट्रेंथ ढूंढने में समय लगता है. एक सिस्टम उनके खिलाफ होता है, पावरफुल लोग उनके. आपको मुझे समझाने की जरूरत नहीं, आप समझदार हैं.
जी, मैं मान रहा हूं, आपकी बातों से सहमत हूं. बहुत सी, देखिए, हिंदुस्तान में बहुत सी ऐसी चीज होती हैं, महिलाएं कहने में बहुत देर तक हिचकती हैं, लेकिन फिर भी जहां हक की बात होती है, जहां आज वो महिलाएं आई, तो आज अगर आप उतर गई थी तो कमेटी आपके लिए गठित की गई थी. कम से कम आप कमेटी के सामने सच को ले आती तो आपको ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट और पुलिस और FIR की बात नहीं करनी पड़ती. खेल मंत्रालय ही उनको हटाता और उनके खिलाफ FIR दर्ज कराता, लेकिन वहां पर भी आप प्रमाणित नहीं कर पाएंगे. जी.
Okay, I have to close, Sharda, very quickly. Again and again, the point has been made and will be made. Why aren't the women coming before the committee? Even from Vinesh and Sakshi, I'm able to gauge that 7 women came, though they're talking about many more who've been harassed. How will they then proceed with their complaint? Sharda?
They have, if they register an FIR against the police, I'm assuming that a case will be built in which these 7 women will put their names down, which is a huge step. It's a great piece of bravery which will take, because the gentleman being accused has got cases that are, short of murder. So, and you're saying the careers are anyway over. In the Sonam Malik's example that he gave, why was Sonam Malik's father having a conversation about this? I want to know. As to what was she doing there? Was that the question that was being asked? Like, what was your daughter doing there? I mean, so there is a massive male sort of pressure put on these women, and it's the medals of these 2 women that have got them to sit out there and challenge this, and they're hoping to push it as much as they can.
And again, I'm struck by what they said to me. अगर हमारे पास ये medals नहीं होते, तो हमारी आज कोई बात सुनता. और अगर हमारी इस आइडेंटिटी के बावजूद हमारे साथ ये हो रहा है, तो आप सोचिए जो बाकी औरतें हैं जो फेमस नहीं हैं, उनके साथ और क्या बीती होगी जब वो आगे आने की कोशिश करती हैं. बहरहाल अश्विनी जी ने कहा कि जो कोर्ट कहेगा उसका समान होगा. So let us wait for what the Supreme Court decides. Swati, Ashwini ji, Sharda, and earlier to Ranjana Kumari, thank you so much, and to our audience, thanks as ever. See you tomorrow. We started Mojo right here in this basement. Just 4 people, 4. And now we're about to hit our first 1 million subscribers. So this is to say thank you to all of you for your support, for your respect, and for your encouragement. We've always gone to where the story is. During the pandemic, when television's big anchors were hunkered down in their studios or at their homes, we hit the road. We traveled from Delhi to Kerala, covering 30,000 kilometers in a small car. reporting from inside ICUs and inside slum tenements. Whether it's flash floods or war zones, we've always put our boots on the ground. In fact, we're just back from Punjab, tailing the Khalistani fugitive Amritpal Singh. And through all of this, we have always put you, the people, first. In an age of partisan polarized media where most journalists are either chamcha ya morcha, we believe the story is sacred and the truth of the story is what matters. And now as we get ready for the next step, we need your help. Become a Mojo member and get first access to all our big interviews. Get a chance to ask our newsmakers questions. Get a chance to write and report for us for both our website and our channels. And also, interact with me and my colleagues directly through AMA sessions. Literally, ask me anything. Click on the join now right next to the subscribe button, and yes, also subscribe if you haven't yet, and become a Mojo member for just 159 rupees a month. Hope to see lots of you in our community. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.